Hi, hello, this is Arul Subramaniam, Director Technical from Reno Brain Kids Academy Private Limited. So, let me give you the context. So, this is the message that has been going around. Online classes by private schools has exposed the poor quality of teachers across the country. Parents are now able to see the teachers teaching on a real time basis, and we are shocked the way the teachers communicate and teach. Poor pronunciation, spelling errors, harsh tone of voice, lack of warmth, lack of friendliness in teachers has outraged many parents. Questions are also being raised about the high fees that is being charged and the values that is being delivered in return to the children. Right. So this is some parents' messages that's going around, and people are replying for and against all that. Unless we see the both sides, we'll be one-sided in our views. And due respect for parents, those who felt that way, and due respect for teachers who are doing a great job. Number one, it's a new system. Teachers had the luxury of space. They can walk into the classroom. They can move around. They can look at the children. They'll know live feedback from looking at the children's face. They can pull the child, call the child. They can do anything that will make the class interesting. And one more thing so valuable about the classroom, because I'm sitting with my friends and I'm learning and I'm waiting for the next break, the child is able to cope with school very easily. Whereas now it's a digital classroom. The challenge for the teacher is the teacher just has this much space, whether it's a WhatsApp class or a Skype class or a Zoom class, the teacher has just this much space, and the teacher has to be all creative. She has to try and engage the children. She has to do all that it takes. And equally for children, whatever they have been as an live experience, now it's just like a very small screen they're watching, and in spite of that there is a network problem. So number one, teachers are adapting to a new system. Number two, the parent is present in the class, and this is also being talked about, and because of that the teacher might be nervous. In our country, teaching is not a high paid profession and a very noble profession as such. So we have to value the teachers, absolutely, undoubtedly that is valid. Right, now the message to parents and children is, please do not judge your teachers, because if you judge a teacher, you can't learn from him. If you judge a teacher, you will say, hey, you are not good, because he is a human being. Teacher is a human being, he can make errors. So if you judge a teacher, that's it, you can't learn from the teacher. So if you want to learn anything from anyone, you have to be unconditional. You have to drop all your judgments. So you have to appreciate your teacher, you have to respect your teacher, you have to be curious. Only when you don't judge, you can learn from them. You cannot be influenced by somebody who you have judged. So number one, don't judge your teacher. Trust them. Trust your teacher and just learn the subject. As a person, whether you trust them or what you do is different. But as a teacher, when the teacher is in front of you, you have to unconditionally learn. You have to respect the teacher. Only then you can learn. So number one, be non-judgmental when it comes to your teachers. Right. And it's the same thing true for teachers also. Teachers, be non-judgmental of your children. Don't judge your children. If you judge your children, you can't teach them. This guy is good for nothing. This child is brainless. This child is lazy. This child is irresponsible. As a teacher, if you judge your children, you can't be a teacher. A student, if he judges a teacher, he can't be a student. And if a teacher judges a student, he or she cannot be a teacher. So both have to be non-judgmental. That means both have to be unconditional in giving. Otherwise you will be partial. You will treat the first rank holder with lots of kindness, and you will be angry with a child who is a mediocre. No. Because sometimes children who bloom late actually go to great heights. You never know who is Abdul Kalam sitting in your class. You never know who is Thomas Alva Edison sitting in your class. You never know. So teacher has to be unconditional. And one of the things the message is addressed is poor pronunciation. I was listening to a speech by Dr. Abdul Kalam in United Nations Assembly. And you believe me, sometimes pronunciation, communication, all that doesn't matter. So parents have to let go. Because parents, if you micromanage, if you look very closely and you say, oh my God, the teacher is like this, oh my God, they're making mistakes, sometimes it just adds up to your stress. Because it's a system outside you. You can't control the teacher, you can't control the school, you can't control that institution. So what do you do then? You simply have to let go. Trust that your child will learn the best. I remember I pronounced the word pyramid. And people around me laughed. I said, why? Pyramid. What's wrong with that? Pronunciation is right, pyramid. They said, no, it is pyramid. I said pyramid. They said pyramid. We kept laughing. Then I went to Google. Google said American pronunciation, British pronunciation. It both said pyramid. I was the only one who said pyramid. Then on Google I said there's an Indian pronunciation. I checked and it said pyramid. Pyramid. So what I'm saying is, children will come to know slowly when their knowledge expands, they get an exposure. They know that things can be wrong and then they unlearn and then they can relearn. So as parents, what do? You create alternative sources of learning to your child. Anytime you see your child pronouncing a wrong word, you just correct the word and tell him, hey, anytime you have a doubt, please go and check on the internet and trust that your child will figure out. He'll learn from the world, he'll learn from his experiences. Now, all said and done, I think there is one message that I want to give to teachers as well. Teachers, there are two things. One is what you teach, and there is another thing called how you teach. What you teach is a subject. I'm sure all the teachers are experts in the subject because you know the subject in and out. You have been teaching it for 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, some of you. 30 years, you have been teaching. So you know the subject in and out. But that is only 7%. What you teach is only 7%. The remaining 93% is how you teach. How you communicate. How you inspire the child. How you connect with the child. How you build rapport with the child. How do you create that conducive environment? So all of that is 93%. So as a teacher, if you're focusing only on the subject, only on the concept, then you're only taking care of 7%. But if you're also taking care of how is the relationship with me and my child, the rapport, the understanding, you will be able to influence the child. So as teachers, you can always keep learning. I'm sure we respect you for what you're doing, but I'm just saying you can keep learning as a teacher, sharpening your axe continuously so that you stay ahead in the game. Technology is growing. If a teacher from 80s, have you updated? A teacher from 90s, have you updated yourself? So that's something I think will make a huge difference. India as a country, we are all very proud is because of one of our education, how much we value teachers. Because we value teachers, we respect teachers, our education system is so intact. If a child goes through a great education, he is very civilized. If he is very civilized, that country, he makes the country proud. If a child doesn't have a proper education, if he doesn't have proper teachers, this child doesn't have a proper foundation. He is a bit uncivilized and he doesn't make the country proud. It could be even spitting everywhere. It could be treating the opposite gender in a bad way. So it's very important that education is given to children in a most beautiful way possible. For that, I request all the teachers to upgrade yourselves. So keep learning and say, how can you do the best? You are already doing the best. But I'm just saying, fall in love with your children. Fall in love with the process. Are you just teaching the subject, or are you inspiring them for life? Are you teaching them beyond the school subjects? Are you really being a role model for that child? If you do all of that, I think children and parents will feel blessed that they have you as a teacher. I know most of the teachers are doing it. I know a lot of teachers are doing it. But sometimes we get caught up in the system. Subjects, exams, we don't have time to think. So this is an opportunity for all the teachers to take a step back and see how can I inspire the child. You have to teach the subject, but beyond that you also have to teach some life lessons. You have to inspire the child, you have to motivate the child, you have to be a role model to the child. If I'm given 6 hours to chop a tree, I will spend the first 4 sharpening the axe. There's a famous quote, right? First 4 hours I'll spend in sharpening the axe. So teachers, please sharpen your axe. You can do miracles. You are already doing miracles. With lots of respect for the teachers. There are so many teachers who have inspired the best. And at this moment, I'm thinking of all the wonderful teachers that I had. Sometimes there could be some teachers who are not paying attention to the quality. I mean, they are focusing on what they teach, but they may not focus on how they teach. So just that, have that attitude. Accountability from every part is very important. At the same time, parents and children value the teachers, respect the teachers, trust them unconditionally, believe them that they're doing a great service. And it's important to have feedback from both sides. As a teacher, be open for feedback. As a teacher, be open for what your parents are letting you know. As an institution, should be open for feedback from parents and children. At the same time, the child and the parent should be open for feedback from the teachers. So we can keep learning from each other. We can keep learning from each other. That way, our system will be a beautiful system. Our system will add value to each other. Our country can grow to great heights. Thank you so much for watching.